How do infants and children develop? So from birth up until, let's say, age 12, what is going on? What happens physically, cognitively, socio-emotionally? I've got a lot of good stuff for you. So let's think first about the brain development. Look at that little squishy baby. So as infants and children develop, the brain changes in some really critical ways, two ways. Number one, they're creating trillions of synapses, like more than you and I even have. At birth, the neurons are disparate and unconnected, but in the first 2 years of life, they begin to connect up extremely rapidly as they take in sensory information. Remember back in the sensation and perception chapter, we said that we're born with biological wetware. We're not hardwired for the environment. A baby giraffe is pretty hardwired for the environment. They know how to walk very quickly. They know what to eat. They seem to just know things. We don't. We have to learn from our environment, and so we take all the stuff in, and the brain is developing and developing, and then at some point it begins to say, okay, that was enough, and now it pares away the stuff that it doesn't need. So, and if the baby is deprived of sensory information, horrible case of abuse or something like that, the brain will not develop properly. It'll be actually quite small. So as many as 2 million new connections or synapses are formed every second in an infant's brain. A lot is going on. By 2, they have over 100 trillion synapses, which is twice as much as you have and twice as much as I have. So let me show you this graphically. That'll be a little bit easier to see. So this is 36 weeks of gestation. So this is almost ready to be born. This is a newborn. 3 months, you can see a lot is happening. These are pretty much the same, but this you now see quite a bit of growth. 6 months, holy cow, look at all of that. 2 years, oh my gosh. And then we get what's called synaptic pruning. We're forming all those synapses. We're talking about 2 million new connections every second. And then at age 4, we have synaptic pruning. Think of it like this. If I want my thought to go from here to here, that's a lot to travel, right? So think about if you want to drive from work to home, and now think about if you take a hovercraft and go directly as the crow flies from work to home, faster, right? More direct. That's basically what we're talking about here. We're saying let's take out some of this stuff that we're not using. Let's not make 5 million turns and have 5 million stop signs. Let's just go from here to here. So this actually, it looks like, oh no, we've lost synapses, but that's not the case. It's, yay, we lost some synapses that we weren't using, and now we can get there faster. So this is 6 years. Still a little bit more synaptic pruning has happened. So about 50% of the synapses are going to be pared away, and that actually makes them much quicker. Okay, let's think about the newborn's reflexes. So this is the palmar grasp. This is the sucking reflex, and this is the stepping reflex. Those very first movements are not skills. They are reflexes. They are involuntary responses to a particular stimulus. So put your finger in the baby's hand, and they will grasp on with all their might so strongly that you can actually lift them up even just for a few seconds. Put something near the cheek and they will turn toward it to suckle. Put something toward the mouth and they'll open it up. Lately I've been watching a lot of, Instagram knows I'm a sucker for babies. It shows me videos of babies who are crying for their bottle, and then the bottle gets close to the mouth and they get real quiet and focused, and they're like, and then they latch on to that bottle, and then they're so calm. I can't look away from it. It's impossible for me. So they put the finger in the mouth, and the baby is going to latch onto that and suck. And then if the baby's feet touch a hard surface, their legs will start to move as though they're walking. And if you lay them flat on their stomach, their arms and legs will start to move as though they're swimming. If you if you're holding them and let your arms go a little bit, they'll startle. They'll throw out their arms and legs and then throw them back in again. That's the startle reflex. So there's lots of reflexes. These are involuntary responses. These last for about 3 months, and then they go away. So it's good to know what's normal in a baby. Now there's wide ranges of what's normal, but by about 3 to 4 months, that's about how old this baby probably is, they should be able to roll over. They first go from the back to the stomach, and then they're able to go from stomach to back after that. So you put your baby to sleep always on their back. That helps with SIDS. And then at some point around 3 or 4 months, you'll go to get them out of their crib, and then they'll be on their tummies, and they'll be looking so proud and so happy and excited, and it's a very exciting moment. At 6 months, they can sit without support. Before that, they're going to need a little bit of help. Otherwise, they'll just flop right over and hit their head. So put them on soft blankets, soft surfaces, give them a boppy, that kind of thing. 8 to 9 months, you start to get crawling. And then by 12 months, you get both walking and talking. Oh, and I should say something about this. We don't teach children to walk. They learn to walk all on their own. But we can help them along by put them next to the couch so they can hold onto the couch, and then they can start to step. You can hold them up on your lap so they can strengthen those leg muscles. Give them as much freedom as you possibly can. Don't keep them strapped in a swing or an exerciser or a pack and play. Let them have freedom of movement. They will move constantly, and they will learn to do these things on their own. Babies' senses are all over the place. Their vision is actually atrocious, but they hear well and they taste and smell well, and that makes some sense, right? Their primary job is to eat, and so they do taste and smell quite well. They can taste the difference between different flavors. They'll know if you ate that when you were pregnant with them. They prefer sweet things to all other flavors, and they also hear well as well. But their vision is terrible. You might think, what kind of mobile is that? Isn't it supposed to be like pastel pink, pastel blue, Winnie the Pooh? No, because they probably can't see that because their vision is so bad. They really need these very bright, this high contrast stuff, black and white, high contrast, very graphical. This baby can see this, but they probably can't see your pastel Winnie the Pooh. In fact, this is at a distance. This is what newborns are seeing. They see best within about 18 inches. So that makes sense, right? If I'm holding the baby in my arms, how far is the baby's face from mine? About 18 inches. So they can see that distance pretty well, but this is their distance vision at a newborn, distance vision at 2 months, 6 months, and then an adult. Okay. So I want to get into attachment. And so I'm going to introduce this idea, and then I'm going to stop this video, and I'm going to have you watch a quick little video on Harry Harlow. So you may have heard of this before, or you may have seen this kind of picture before. Harry and Margaret Harlow were at the University of Wisconsin, which is where I was doing my PhD work until I had a baby, and then I left my program. But we were at University of Wisconsin, and so was Harry Harlow. And Harry Harlow was interested in what is a mother's love? What causes the baby to love the mother? What causes the baby to seek out the mother? This baby is choosing to clutch onto his fake mother. And if he had his real mother, he would clutch onto her. Why is that? Is that love? Harry Harlow thinks that is attachment. So what happened with these studies is that the baby monkeys were separated from their mothers at birth. No one would be allowed to do these studies these days, but they did it back then. And then the baby would either be given, some babies were given a cloth mother like this that's soft. It has a pretty good face. It has a heating element in it. And then other babies were given a wire mother that has a wire body, no heat, no softness, and a very basic face. But the wire mother had a nipple, and so it provided food. And other babies were given both. And then what he wanted to know was, what does the soft cloth mother do for the baby that the nipple feeding mother does not? that's what he was interested in. So I'm going to pause this video, and I want you to watch the Harry Harlow video to get a flavor for that, and then I'll see you in the next video.